Welcome back to my channel. I am back with another review, so if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you know every time I upload a new video. A lot went down in this episode, so let's just get right into this review. So at the very beginning of this episode, Safaree actually ends up showing up to the DR to surprise Amara. This is the day of her twin daughter's birthday party. So not only is Alan there while this is all going down, but his whole family is there too. And look, Safaree was being very dramatic. He had a big bouquet of roses for Amara. He was being very complimentary of her. And then he gets on one knee and ends up asking Amara to marry him. And look, let me just start off by saying this. There was a part of me, even though I know that this is fake, that was actually glad to see Safaree show up and show Amara all this love in front of Alan, because he was purposely trying to make her jealous this entire trip, and he was being purposely disrespectful to her. And not only was he being disrespectful to Amara, but his mother was as well. But I will say I was really shaking my head when Amara said yes to this proposal, because she knows it's not a good idea to say yes to Safaree. She knows that he's not changed and that he doesn't really want to be married. He said this numerous amounts of times, and it was very clear from his marriage with LHHMIA that he does not want to be tied down to somebody. And I'm sorry if this comes off as rude, but please miss me in the comments with saying that this is fake and it's just for a storyline. I really do not care. I'm reviewing the episode. Every TV show and movie and series that you watch is scripted and people still talk about it anyway. So it really doesn't matter to me if it's fake or not. But what I will say is that I don't think that it's a good look, fake or not, for Amara to be saying yes to Safaree's proposal. I mean, as pretty and as talented as Amara is, she's kind of an airhead, because after he was all over all these other women, especially Eliza, who was supposed to be Amara's friend, I don't understand why she would even give him another chance. Maybe she's lonely, or maybe it's because she really isn't over Alan, and that's the reason why she's trying to move on so quickly with Safaree. But I don't think it's a good look. I honestly think that the only reason why she said yes is because Alan's there, and she wanted to rub it in his face a little bit. And Alan did seem to be a little bit annoyed about this whole proposal thing, because he whispered to his family not to look over there at them because they were purposely trying to get attention. And then at some point he ended up getting up and going to the producers and asking them to take his microphone off, and then him and his family ended up leaving. Now, when everybody ends up getting back to Miami from the trip to the DR, that's when Amara and Safaree meet up with each other and they start talking about their engagement. And look, Amara starts telling Safaree how she's been hurt by every single man that she's been with, and that she wants him to make a promise to her that he's not going to hurt her. But I don't understand why she's asking him to make that promise, because he couldn't even make that promise in his previous marriage. And like I said before, I'm not trying to say that LHHMIA wasn't problematic in the marriage too, but it was very clear that Safaree was not faithful, and that he doesn't really know how to be faithful because he doesn't want to be monogamous with somebody. So I don't understand why he would get on one knee and propose to Amara in the first place. Safaree just seems like one of those guys who purposely get with these women and tell them what they want to hear because he wants to play games. I think he likes the drama. It's really entertaining for him, and it really boosts his ego, and that's the reason why he does this. But if he wants to be single and be able to mess around with who he wants to be able to mess around with, I don't understand why he gets into these relationships with these women. I mean, why hurt people if you don't have to? If he just gets with somebody who wants to be casual and they don't care what he does, that's fine. But stop getting with people like Amara who actually want to be married and be serious with one person, because that's clearly not what Safaree wants. He's just playing games at this point, and Amara looks like an airhead because she knows this. And at some point in this episode, Safaree actually ends up meeting up with Trick, Ray J, and the Hollywood twins to talk about his engagement to Amara. And Ray J starts trying to give advice to Safaree about marriage. He was basically saying that his marriage to Princess is up and down and they're not in a good place right now, and he knows that Safaree is not going to be able to handle this. And look, everybody's marriage is not like Princess and Ray J's. They play too many games with each other. One minute they're happy and they're together, the next minute they're filing for divorce. This is like the 5th or 6th time that the two of them announced that they were getting a divorce and they don't actually go through with it. So I don't understand why he's trying to give advice. And secondly, Safaree has already been in a toxic marriage already with LHHMIA, so he really does not need, Ray J's advice. I just don't like when people who have a very toxic and hard, difficult marriage try to scare other people who want to get married into not getting married because their marriage is actually hard, because everybody's marriage is not like that. Some people have very healthy marriages and they're happy together. They don't get into these huge blowouts where the two of them are going to break up. Obviously, you're going to bicker and get into disagreements, but not everybody's relationship is like Ray J and Princess's, so I don't understand why he's trying to project that onto Safaree and Amara. Now, look, I'm not saying that Safaree Safaree really wants to be married to Amara, because to me, he's just playing games. He doesn't want to be married for real, but I just don't like the advice that Ray J tries to give. So it's the day of the Rockstar Music Festival that Trina put together, and she let not only Trick's son perform, but she also let Zoe perform too, to make up for the performance that she did at Super Cindy Day. And look, Zoe was really nervous to perform because the last time she did, it didn't really go well, but she actually did a really good job. She was more confident this time, she had a lot more energy, and she seemed to be in a really good place. And I'm glad that her and Trina were able to work things out. And even though this was Trick's son's first performance that he did in front of a bunch of people, I think he did a pretty good job. Obviously, he has some work to do, but for his first performance, I think he did well. But Trick actually almost ended up getting into a fight with Trina's boyfriend, because one of Trick's friends actually came with him where Trina was at, and obviously Trina's boyfriend was getting into protective mode. I don't know if he was being protective or if he was being jealous in this situation, but he started questioning Trick's friend as to why he was over there where Trina was, and that's when Trick goes over there and says that that guy is with him and that that's his friend and that he shouldn't pop off on everybody because you don't know what somebody will do. And Trina's boyfriend ended up saying "and what" to Trick, and Trick did not like his response. He felt like it was too aggressive, and so the two of them almost ended up getting into a fight. Trina had to run over there and stand between the two of them and try to calm the situation down. Nothing escalated, which I'm glad about, but Trick decided that he was gonna leave. I feel like they both handled that situation wrong. I don't feel like it had to get to where it got to, but I'm glad that the two of them did not end up fighting. And later that night, Trina ends up going out to celebrate with Zoe and some other people, and she kept her promise to Zoe that she was going to talk to Big D to try to work something out, because she wanted the two of them to work on their friendship, because things kind of went left between the two of them because they were having disagreements about Zoe's music. And so Trina actually gets Big D to show up, and she ends up telling him that he needs to be a little bit more gentle with the way that he talks to Zoe. And that's when Zoe and Big D end up having a one-on-one conversation, and both of them were able to tell their side of the story, and then they both agreed that they were going to work together and be more respectful of each other. And he also ended up clearing the songs that they did together for her album, so I'm glad that Trina was actually able to make that happen. Now, despite the fact that Shay has been at odds with her mother and her brother, she agreed to go out to dinner with them and Fabo so that they can work things out and try to come to an understanding. And before they walk into the restaurant, she does end up telling Fabo that because he did disrespect her mother, he does need to apologize for it. And when he goes into the restaurant, he does end up apologizing to Shay's mother. And although I don't feel like it was genuine, like I don't feel like he meant the apology, I do feel like Shay's mother is trying to keep the drama going, because she could have just accepted the apology and let it go. She does not have to like Fabo, but at the end of the day, Shay wants to be with him, and nothing that she says is going to make Shay leave him. So I don't understand why she's keeping the drama going. I completely understand that she's a mother and she wants the best for her daughter, but prying too much into her business is not a good thing. I mean, even MJ tried to tell his mother that she needs to just calm down and let the situation go, because at the end of the day, Shay and Fabo have a child together, and it doesn't seem like they're going to be breaking up anytime soon. So his mother either has to deal with it, or she has to just decide that she's going to take a step back from Shay. And look, Fabo got really annoyed because of the way that Shay's mother was talking to him, and he got really pissed off and said that he was leaving. He grabbed their daughter, and he was telling them that they need to take the microphone off of him because he's leaving, and he was yelling about them needing to bring the car over. And Shay ends up getting up to leave with him, and she starts yelling at her mother, telling her that she's not invited to the wedding and she won't be around their daughter either. Now, I don't like that Shay uses their daughter as a clutch in this situation, where she likes to throw the fact that she can choose not to let her mother see her daughter at any time. I don't like that she really does that, but at the same time, if her mother is bringing more drama than good, then I can understand why she wants to separate herself. But personally, I feel like Shay looks like an airhead. Like, she tried to yell at Amara for dealing with Safaree, but she's with Fabo, who has cheated on her, disrespected her, and made her look like a fool too, so she really does not have any room to talk. So Brooke is having a small intimate performance at a lounge, and she ends up inviting everybody to come, but I'm wondering if she invited all these people to this performance before the trip to the DR, because she invited people who definitely do not like each other and who are definitely going to get into it, because she invited Flo and Gael, Zoe, Bobby, and then on top of that, Eliza is there, and now Safaree and Amara end up showing up, which it was really awkward when Safaree showed up with Amara and Eliza was there, because Amara and Eliza were supposed to be friends, but when they fell out, Eliza started messing around with Safaree, and then Safaree and Eliza fell out. Amara and Eliza ended up making up, but then Eliza got really upset with Amara because Shay was invited to the trip to the DR, which I don't understand why she was upset about that, because as much as she feels like Shay is not a real friend to Amara, I mean, neither is she, because she went behind Amara's back and sat there and was messing around with Amara's alleged ex, Safaree, so I don't understand why she got so upset about Shay being invited on the trip, but she was acting really awkward too because she knows that Safaree and Amara are engaged. Now, Flo decides that she wants to make amends with Zoe, and she ends up apologizing to her for making excuses for Gael's behavior and promises that she's not going to do that again. Now, during this conversation, Zoe actually ends up forgiving Flo, which I'm really proud of Zoe, because she went from popping off really quickly at people to really calming down a little bit and learning to communicate better, and I'm glad that the two of them were able to squash their beef. But then Zoe ends up telling Flo that she missed, Safaree proposing to Amara, and Flo's jaw basically dropped to the floor because she said that she ended up meeting up with Safaree before the trip to the DR just to collab with him on music, but she felt like he wanted more than that. And to me, she's kind of lying about that a little bit because she was the one that started flirting with him first. Now, he did not have to flirt back with her, but she's the one that started off the flirtation, so I don't understand why she's making it seem like he was the one that was coming on to her first. Either way, he was wrong because he was still trying to get with Amara, but she was wrong too in that situation, and I don't understand why she's playing games. But then she ends up telling Zoe that she also ended up getting a call from Safaree when they got back from the DR, and he was trying to come to her house to meet up. And look, I'm not surprised by any of this at all because Safaree likes to play games, and Amara is just a part of the games that he's playing, and I don't understand why she said yes to him anyway, storyline or not. So while Brooke and Amara are having a conversation, that's when Flo ended up going up to Amara and telling her that not only was Safaree trying to get with her when she tried to collab with him on music, but that he also tried to come to her house and see her when they got back from the DR. And Amara seemed to be really upset about it, but she didn't show it to Flo. I don't know if she believed what Flo was saying or if she was just really upset at the fact that she realizes that Safaree hasn't changed at all. So Amara ends up going up to Safaree to confront him about what Flo just told her, and that's when Eliza comes over there and she starts talking to Safaree. She doesn't even address Amara at all. She just starts talking to Safaree, which was really, really weird. And she starts telling Safaree why is he acting so different towards her, because he was just texting her, saying how much he misses her and he wanted to see her, and that he also ended up sending her a video of him oiling up his private parts. And look, he tried to cover the video up that she was trying to show Amara, but Amara ended up seeing it anyway, and he immediately ended up grabbing Amara and saying that they were leaving because he did not want her to hear the rest of what, Eliza was gonna say. So when Amara and Safaree get into the car, she ends up asking him if she can see his phone because she wants to see the text thread between him and Eliza, and he says that his phone is dead, which is crazy to me. She should have got up out of that car immediately. She shouldn't have ever even got into the car with him in the first place. I would have left him inside that building once I found out from Flo that he contacted her when they got back from the DR, because at that point, him and Amara were already engaged. So I don't understand why she even gave him the courtesy of a conversation in the car. And when she starts questioning Safaree about the video that he sent to Eliza, he tries to turn it around on her and say that Trick told him that she still wants to be with Alan because she smacked him in the face in the DR. I don't understand why he thinks that's relevant to what's going on between him and Eliza and him and Flo and all the other women that he's messing around with. I don't like that he tried to turn it around on her, because despite the fact that she might not be over her baby daddy, that does not mean that she's sleeping with him in any way, shape, or form. I just don't feel like they're a good match for each other, even if it is for a storyline. I just think it's crazy that she said yes to him in the first place. But I am glad that Amara ended up leaving by herself. Safaree is really messy, and I think he likes the image of being a player. I don't understand why these women even give him a chance. Even if it is for a storyline, they look like a fool, because we all know how Safaree is at this point, and when you decide to get involved with him, it's hard for me to feel sorry for them. So those are my thoughts on this week's episode of Love and Hip Hop Miami. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode down in the comments section. Don't forget to hit that like button for me. I appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos and hit the notification bell so that you know every time I upload a new video. Thank you so much to everybody who has subscribed to my channel. I appreciate you all. And until next time, I will talk to you guys in my next video.